So I've covered this particular subject a few times, but I wanted to go into it in more depth, and it's the power of reading and reading well. So I believe that a number of people are either not reading, and I'm going to cover that briefly, but also those that are reading aren't getting the takeaways that they perhaps wish they were and certainly should be from some of the really awesome personal development books that are out there. And my focus and my attention is on those types of books today. So first and foremost, the very quick thing is probably say 2-3 years ago, I barely read a book. Not a big fan, certainly wasn't into fiction, liked to watch movies and TVs. And I have my own coach that supports me through many things, and he was absolutely adamant that I need to start getting into reading. So he recommended the book that no doubt if you've followed me before, you've seen me mention once or twice before, The Slight Edge. And he encouraged me to approach it at a chapter a day. And when I began to read the book, I began to understand where that idea came from. But honestly, looking at what is quite a chunky book for someone who doesn't like reading, and thinking about it in realms of maybe 12 to 15 pages a day was far more achievable for me. And it's something like 18 chapters long. I forget now, but I'm sure it's about 18 chapters, which means in under 3 weeks I'd read a whole book, which for me was a miracle. However, it did have some impacts for me. It was really, really powerful. But on the first read, I probably didn't take away as much as what I could have done. And also, I'm fairly impatient and I really want to have results fairly quickly. So I want to share with you a technique for reading that you can use to various degrees. There's sort of the extreme end of the spectrum and the basic end. So I'm going to take one of my other favourite books, a book called Drive. So I've read that book. I really enjoyed it. But the first time I read it, I didn't take away as much over the sort of next few weeks as I would have liked to have done. So what I've started to do is I have a little yellow notebook, which I now will, every time I come across something in a book that is of interest to me, I will write down the page number of that book, highlight in the book itself, and make a note of why I like that particular piece. Now, in the case of Drive, I've probably referenced maybe sort of 40 pages of an over 200 page book, but I also have another technique that you may wish to try. So I also have Audible. Now I know that's a bit fancy. I've paid a credit for Drive and I've got the hard copy book and I've got a notebook. It's a little bit of an investment. But in terms of how much more I get from it with this technique, I honestly think it's worth every penny. So what I tend to do is I will play Audible at a certain speed. Now I must admit, not bragging, I've managed to be able to do this at 3 times speed, but there is no need to do that. But I have found, as not a natural reader, I'm a bit of a slow reader and I struggle with it a little bit. I have found that having the book in front of me and following it along whilst being read to by my audiobook on Audible, and then being able to pause it when I need to highlight in the book and make a note in my notebook, that I am able to take away so much more information that I can come back to again and again and again. And I'll be like, okay, why did I pick page 69? I'll look at it, read page 69 in the book, and very quickly realize why that struck a chord with me. And I can start taking some meaningful actions. So I can move away from all the takings in the books like The Slight Edge to make sure that when something resonates with me in a book, I'm able to act on it. But I don't have to act on them all straight away. There might be many things in the book that resonate with you. This way ensures that you have a chance to start putting actions in place for almost every single one of them. And for me personally, and for some of my clients, it's been an incredibly powerful tool. So I wanted to share it with you and visualize it for you so you can understand what it is I'm trying to explain. So I hope you find it useful, and if nothing else, give it a go.